So today I'm going to show you how I weld map in Bluebeam. If you're still using paper and a stencil and a pen, then it's time to upgrade. So if your PDF viewer isn't already set to Bluebeam, usually the easiest way to open it once you have Bluebeam on your computer is to right-click your drawing, go to Open With, and then go to Review, which is Bluebeam. I already have mine open, so we're just going to open it up here. Okay, so let's say you're opening up Bluebeam for the first time. It's going to have a single page here, and if you want to go to the next drawing, you have to go down here to the bottom and click Next Page. And which it isn't bad, but I prefer to click down here where it says Scrolling Pages. And when you click that, it makes it to where you just scroll your mouse wheel and you can just go through all the drawings in this set. And for me, it's just way faster that way. If I need to scroll down a whole lot, I'll zoom way out, and then I can, it gives me more of an idea. I can scroll from the beginning to the end way quicker than sitting here and clicking that next button 20 times. So the next thing that you really need to know is how to zoom in and out. So once you go down here and you click Scrolling Pages, it makes it to where the wheel on your mouse doesn't zoom in and out anymore. So you just have to hold Control. So if you hold Control on your keyboard and then you scroll your mouse, that gives you in and out. If you don't have this hand down here selected and you have something else selected, you don't want to have to go back to that hand every single time you want to click and drag around. So let's say you have the mouse selected or you have one of these tools selected, you just hold the space bar and then you can move around. Those are really the only two keyboard shortcuts you really need to that you really need to know. Just hold Control, roll your mouse in and out for zoom, and hold space bar and click and hold to move around. It's helpful when you're zoomed way in and you're looking at something and you want to go somewhere else in the drawing. You don't want to have to zoom all the way out or click another, click the hand down here or anything. You just hold the hand and you just drag. And that you'll realize pretty quick that that's really helpful. Okay, before you start mapping or anything, you're going to want to make your tools reusable. So you'll go to Review and you'll go to Preferences. You'll go to Tools, and you want to make sure that this Reuse Tools button is checked. And let me show you why. So let's uncheck it. We're going to go to OK. We're going to click the weld bubble over here, and let's say we want to place our weld bubble. We click, and it goes away. If I want to set another weld bubble, I have to come over here and click it again, and then come click it again. And if you're placing a lot of those, then that's going to get old really fast. So let's delete those. So let's go back to Review, Preferences, Tools, and then you're going to want to click Reuse Tools and hit OK. So now when we select this weld bubble, we click. It doesn't go away until we select another tool or, we select something else in Bluebeam. It'll stay there. And what we're looking for is efficiency, and that is way more efficient than having to go over here and click your tool again and again every single time you need it. So that'll pretty much set you up to do this. So let's start mapping. So first thing you need to do, obviously, is know where your welds are on your drawing. So luckily, it won't always be like this, but this drawing has a weld list. So we come over here on the drawing, we have a weld list. It shows numbers 1 through 4, all 1/2 inch butt welds. So we're going to come over here and look. We've got our welds. Here's number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Most of the time on a drawing, your butt welds are going to be represented by these black circles. You can see it. Just like this. Socket welds and butt welds are going to look a little different. We'll get to socket welds in a few minutes, but these are all butt welds on this drawing. When it comes to mapping, they're going to usually be mapped the same. whether it's a socket weld or whether it's a butt weld, that's not really going to matter and change much until we start logging these welds in our weld log, which come in the next video. So let's start mapping these. So what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way over here to the right, and we're going to select our line tool. So I like to do mine in red. Mine's already changed to red, so whenever you click, it may not be red. If you want it to be red to match the weld bubble over here, what you'll do, let's for the example, let's change it to blue. So we have a blue line. We don't want that. We want it red. So we make sure that it's selected. I like to use 1.00 for the thickness. You'll come over here to the blue color, you'll click it, and you'll just go to red. And it's as simple as that. If you want that line to be red every time you select it, you don't want to have to change that color every time. Once you get it set to the color and the thickness that you want, come all the way up here by where it says line and it has your color. Click that arrow and just set as default. And now every time you click that line, it's going to be exactly like you want it. And that goes for all of these tools. If you want it to be the same way every time you click it, just manipulate the settings, hit that arrow up there, set as default, and you won't have to change it every single time you select that tool. So let's start drawing our lines. We're going to start right here at the top. You're going to click, and you're just going to drag and let go. And you're going to do that for each weld location. So there's our lines. There's easy, four welds on this drawing. So then we're going to go over here and we're going to click our weld bubble. And we're just going to take it and we're going to place it at the end of each of these lines. And just like that, it's mapped. As easy as that. So the next thing we're going to want to do is number these welds. So what we'll do is we'll come over here and we're going to click this red 1 right here. And we'll just go over here, and I like to put mine on the top side of the bubble. There's number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you'll notice that every time I clicked, that number changed on its own. And that's because this number is sequenced. You can go into the settings, you can sequence them. I'll get into another video on how to do that, but it's way easier, obviously, to have them sequenced, because if not, then you're going to have to select that number every single time you place it and change it to whatever number you want. If you need, for some reason, to go back to 1, you'll see where the arrow turned orange. That means we're mid-sequence. If you want that to go back to 1, you just click that arrow, and it's going to go back to 1. So really, really simple. So let's number a few more. We'll go to this next drawing, and let's say we're just going to continue mapping. We're going to do the same thing. Select your line tool, click and drag. Then we're going to click our bubble. We're going to place them, and now we're going to continue through. So you just go back to your 5, you click it over here, it's going to pick up right where it left off. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's just say that 8 is going to be a field weld. It's we're not going to weld it in the shop. We want to, we're going to leave that unwelded for whatever reason so they can make a fit in the field. So I really like my field welds to be green, like the number, and I like to put an F on it to show that it's a field weld. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click that 8 and we're going to add a F to it. Might move it around, center it up a little bit, and then you'll go up here to the right side where it says font color up here at the top, and you'll click that, and then let's change it to green. So now it's obviously 8F is obviously a field weld. And I do that because when you're in the field and you're walking down welds and you're looking at these drawings, you want to immediately be able to look at that and know that, that's a field weld versus a shop weld. It's all about efficiency. It's what we're working on here. So let's go to another. This drawing has no welds. It's just a valve. You can see over here in the weld list there's no welds. Here's another. Okay. So here we're going to have a couple socket welds. If you look over here at the weld list, number 1 and number 2 are both 2-inch socket welds, SW. If that weld list wasn't there, how would we know that these are socket welds versus butt welds? So you'll see that this symbol, it's a circle still like the butt welds, but they added these lines, this U-shaped line to it. That shows us that this is a butt weld. I'm sorry, a socket weld. So we'll scroll up, and this is the same way, but the lines kind of go onto your flange, but you still see the lines sticking out on the sides here. That shows us that this is a socket weld. Numbering these socket welds doesn't change. That's only going to really matter when we start weld logging. And the next video after this is going to show us how to log these welds in Excel. So let's go ahead and map these. We're going to select our line over here, and we're going to draw them. Now notice how I'm coming over here and selecting my line versus coming all the way over here to the right and selecting the line. That's because every time you use a tool, it's going to put it in your recents. And it's just easier. It's just right there. It's convenient. My mouse is usually over here to the left side anyway. It just makes it way more simple. So we're going to click our weld bubble there, and we're just going to place each one. Then we're going to go back to our number. We're on number 9. So another thing I love about the sequencing is I don't lose count. I don't have to scroll back up to a drawing to see where I left off at. It remembers for me, so I know that I'm on number 9 and number 10. And just for the sake of example, let's change 10 to a field weld. So we'll go down here, and we're going to click this little mouse button down here. That is it helps us select our tool. So we'll double click 10. We'll type 10F. Let's center it up, make it look a little nicer. Go up here to font color, and we'll change it to green. And now we have our field weld. Easy, easy. So if you'll notice, I didn't line my lines up very clean right here. How this line extends into my bubble. I don't like that. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to me. So a lot of times I'll go back and I'll click and I'll drag that back a little bit. Just makes it look nicer. The QA that you deliver this turnover package to will be appreciative of the cleanliness of your weld map. Okay, so let's start. Let's say that we're in the field or we're in the shop, wherever we are, and we have our welds numbered now. Now we're going to start adding welder stencils. So let's go back to number 1 here. And let's just say that a welder AA1 made welds 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go over here to our tool set. We're going to click AA1, and we're going to place him in 1, 2, and 3. So we know that he made these welds. So let's say that BB1 made weld number 4. So you'll click your AA1 in there, but we want to change that. So the same way we change the text on our weld number, you'll come down here, you'll click your mouse, your little mouse cursor, you'll double click that, and you'll type BB1. So now BB1 made weld number 4. If BB1 is going to be a welder on your job and he's going to make a lot of welds, you don't want to have to change that stencil every single time. So what you can do is click on BB1 and you'll right click it. You'll go to add to tool chest, and then right now the tool set we're working on is the QC workflow field tool set. So we're just going to add it to that same tool set. So add to tool set, you'll click it and it'll pop up. And now you can use that all you want. You don't have to change it every time. Usually if I'm on a job and we have, really it doesn't matter how many welders we have, whether it's 5, whether it's 10, whether it's 20. When I start mapping, the first thing I do is I add each of their stencils to my tool set over here. That way I'm not clicking and I'm not having to type and I'm not having to change. I just click this and I put it in the weld bubble and then I'm done with it. It's easy as that. These tools are all custom made by me, the sequencing and everything. These are the ones that I use more than anything when I'm in the field. You can use this exact same tool set if you want it. There's a link to it in the description. You just click that link, it'll take you there, and you can get it if you want it. So let's keep adding some stencils. Let's do, let's say BB1 welded number 5, and let's say CC2 welded 6. So now we need to add CC2 to our weld map. So we'll click, put BB1 in there, but he didn't weld it, CC2 did. So we're going to double click it, change that to CC2, straighten it up a little bit. Then CC2 is a new welder on the job. We need to add his stencil. That way we don't have to keep changing it every time. So we're going to select it. We're going to right click it, add to tool chest, and then QC workflow field tool set. Now we have CC2 in our tool set. So that's pretty much it for the weld mapping. There's really not a whole lot to it as long as you have the setup right, you have the right tools, and you kind of have a basic idea of how to use them. This can go really fast. You can map a lot of drawings really, really quick. You could go through 100 ISOs on Bluebeam in the time that it takes someone with pen and paper to do even a quarter of that many drawings. One more thing I want to show you is I like to use my NDE symbols over here in my tool set also. So let's just say we're going to X-ray weld number 1. This is easy to track because I just go over here and I click RT in my tool set here, and I just place it right there by weld 1. Easy as that. Let's say we're going to X-ray weld number 6. Same thing. We're just going to RT right there. Let's say we're going to PT this slip-on flange. That's number 9. We're going to go over here. We're going to select PT, and we're going to place it right there. And that just makes it really clean and really easy whenever whoever's reviewing your turnover documents or your weld map is going through, and they can spot right off the bat where your RTs and where all your PTs were taking place. So that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to log these welds into Excel using my Weld Log Excel template. Thanks for watching.